welcome to my very first sit down video. It's so weird being in front of the camera in this way because I'm using my Fujifilm X-T3 instead of my G7X, so I can't see myself, so I'm just speaking to a lens, and that's kind of weird. I'd much rather be speaking to my own reflection. That feels more normal because I talk to myself. But nevertheless, you clicked on this video because you saw the title. I had the best time ever shopping, overly shopping for books. Okay, my city does not have a Barnes & Noble. We had one Barnes & Noble within 60 miles, and unfortunately that Barnes & Noble was attached to a mall that closed. So naturally the Barnes closed eventually, and they are supposed to be moving it to a different location, but it should be some months before that's open. In the meantime, the only bookstores that are in my city are like, I don't know, there are none. I've looked everywhere. There's a college campus here, and that has a bookstore, but it's more like collegiate, so I'm not really getting my fix. So luckily, when I went to go visit my fiance, he lives in Virginia. He lives within a 20-mile radius of like 7 or 8 Barnes. So naturally, when I seen him, I was like, I need to go. I need to go to Barnes. Take me. And boy, oh boy, did he. Okay, when I tell you, I have so many bags here, so many books. I'm gonna get started because I don't know how long I'm gonna have with this camera. First time filming with it, really, so we'll see. But they're not in any particular order. I'm just gonna start pulling out books and we'll go from there. So the first book, let me bring this closer. The first book I have is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. I got this book because I heard another book talker, a booktuber, talking about it. I don't know her name. I'm gonna have to put her name on the screen. That is her. I watch a lot of her content and I think she's pretty cool and she has good taste in books, and so I'm gonna try this one out. This one looks like it's part of Reese's book club. So it says she struggles with appropriate social skills and tends to say exactly what she's thinking. Nothing is missing in her careful timetabled life, where weekends mostly consist of frozen pizza, vodka, and phone chats with Mummy. But everything changes when Eleanor meets Raymond, the bubbling IT guy from her office, whose big eyes will ultimately help Eleanor find the way to repair her own profoundly damaged one. So I don't know, I think this might be a romance. Y'all know how I feel about romance. I'm not the biggest romance girly, but I'm curious because like I said, that booktuber, she really does put this one on a pedestal. So we'll see. The next book I have in my bag is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Hellbent. This is part of the, what is it called? Ninth House series, which I know is Dark Academia. I did not purchase Ninth House in the special Barnes & Noble edition because I already had Ninth House, which I haven't read yet, in the regular. So I'm excited to get into this. I don't know, I'm kind of a mood reader, and I've not really been in the mood for Dark Academia. I feel like that's like a fall time vibe. So I will definitely probably do a vlog or something just reading Dark Academia books, and I know this one is pretty good. So, and I like Leigh Bardugo, so we'll see. Let's see here. I need to bring these closer too. I also have here this book. It's called Butcher and Blackbird. I think this was like an indie book, and then when I saw that Book of the Month had dropped it, I was like, oh, that's interesting, but I didn't choose it for my Book of the Month. This is a story about 2 serial killers, I think, that fall in love, and I got it because the content and trigger warnings on the front page really got me going. I mean, it says eyeballs and eye sockets, amateur surgery, skin ornaments, chainsaws, accidental cannibalism, not so accidental cannibalism, questionable use of mummified corpse, lobotomized manservant, ill-advised use of kitchen, and the list goes on, the list goes on. So I was like, let me see, because as I'm trying to figure out my reader style, as I'm trying to figure out what suits me as a reader, I definitely want to dip and dive into something that's a little bit out of my comfort zone, and I think something that's kind of raunchy, a little bit dark, a little bit, you know, a little bit Like I gotta hide that I'm reading this. I don't know, I might like it, we'll see. So that's that one. On the other side, let's see, I got Finley Donovan is Killing It. So I saw a couple people reading this book. I know Destiny Sitwell just rated this on Goodreads, but I had already picked it up before she did. This is a story about, I guess, a writer who's going over the plot of a murder for hire book she's gonna write. And in between time, somebody thinks she's serious. Somebody thinks she's a real assassin, okay? So they try to hire her, and she, I don't know, I guess she just talks about the study. One thing about me is I don't like to do too much research on a book. Like, I don't want to know too many details before I start reading it, because then it's like, what's the point of reading? I don't like to spoil stuff for myself. So I didn't really get too much into it, but I definitely saw the main points of the plot and was like, yeah, I can try that. We'll see. Oh, this one I'm very excited to read. I don't know why, because you're gonna be like, why are you excited to read that? But Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar. Now this book is dark. What's even darker is the history surrounding this book. Sylvia Plath is a very well-known American poet. I think she's American. And the thing about her is she wrote very explicitly about having thoughts and ideations of ending her life, unaliving herself. And therefore, a deep dive in her brain and her psyche is something that's very interesting to me, because one, I am a psychology major, but two, I really like her poetry. So I'm hoping if I read The Bell Jar, which is pretty much an autobiography of her life, she didn't intend for it to be that way, but it ended up being that way, then I can pretty much get into her a little bit more. But yeah, The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, I picked that up. Oh my god, this is like an OG booktube book, but I'm finally jumping on the bandwagon, guys. The Song of Achilles, okay? And my fiance gave me the hardest time about this book, because he was like, why are you reading that? That book is for me. You don't even like Greek mythology. And I was like, yo, pipe down. You can borrow the book when I'm done, boo. But for right now, I'm going to read it. He's super into Greek mythology. He's read all the Percy Jacksons and all of that. I don't care. I haven't read those. But what I do know is that everybody reads this. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to let you guys know how I feel about it. And then maybe, just maybe, I can convince Bay to read it and give his reaction. I don't know. That seems exciting. He's different, so you gotta watch it with him. Okay, so this, I got 2 of the final books of a series that I talked to you guys about in my last video. I got Legendary and Finale, which are books 2 and 3 in the Carvel series. I already own the book Carvel. I haven't read it yet, but I do want to start Carvel before I get into Once Upon a Broken Heart, because I know that is the, I guess, more interesting series, but I don't want anything to be spoiled because I'm going to end up reading Carvel anyway. So I'm going to just go ahead and read Carvel first. So I had to pick up the next 2 because seeing all 3 books together just makes me so happy. Oh, we're 1 bag down, baby, but that wasn't even our biggest bag yet. So let's see what else we got. Oh my god, this is a book that all the girls are raving about right now. Powerless. Okay, Powerless by Lauren Roberts. So what I got from this book is, you know, I hear the girlies talking about this one, but to be honest, I got it because I know that it's fantasy, and I know it has a Hunger Games vibe. And it says the elites have possessed powers for decades, gifted to them by the plague, while those born ordinary, capital, are just that, banished from the kingdom of Ilia and shunned from society. No one knows this better than Peyton Gray, an ordinary posing as a psychic to blend in with the elites. But when she unwittingly saves one of the Ilia's princes, Kai Azur, she's thrown into the purging trials, a brutal competition showcasing the elite's powers. If the trials and the opponents within them don't kill her, the prince she's fighting feelings for will. Okay, so what I gathered is that she's a poser. Okay, and I love a good story where there's stakes because you are a poser. Okay, so I'm pretty excited about this. What I'm most excited about is reading a book that's current and that everybody's talking about, and I don't have 3-4 books till I'm caught up with everyone else. I can read this and wait with the rest of the girlies for the next one, and we can digest it all together. So I'm here for it. This is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I'm so excited. Okay, this next book is actually, I bought it because it's part of my, it's a book that's required for my book club later on in the year. It's called The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. This one's all over the place. It's the Barnes & Noble Book of the Year. Look at this beautiful cover. I mean, it's gorgeous. I don't know what it's about. Let's find out together. Okay, so it says, in 1972, when workers in Poasttown, Pennsylvania were digging the foundations for a new housing development, the last thing they expected to uncover was human skeleton. Whoa. Who the skeleton was and how it got buried there were just two of the long-held secrets that have been kept for decades by the residents of Chicken Hill, the dilapidated neighborhood where immigrant Jews and African Americans live side by side, sharing ambitions and sorrows. Okay. So it's giving immigrant story, and you know what? This is not a book I would usually, I love showing the authors because, I mean, just giving them the clout that they deserve. I would not normally choose something like this, but this is why you join book clubs. You join book clubs to be exposed to books you wouldn't normally pick up, and then you're able to share those ideas with others. So I'm excited because the girls are excited, and we'll read it together. I don't remember what month, but I'll definitely update you guys when I'm reading it. Okay, so that bag is down. Now for the big bag, baby, which isn't that much if you really think about it. Okay, so I got another series, and right now only 2 books are out in it. It's called One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. This is book 1, this is book 2. And, all I know about this book, let me think. What do I know about these books? Oh, I do know something. There's a mist that's doing something bad. And then there's a girl with an illness that makes her hear a voice in her head. Okay, that's all I got about it. Okay, if you read this book already and I was like way off, just laugh at me in the comments because that's what I got, and I don't read the backs of books that often. So let's see here. A highwayman, a monster. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the girlies are saying this is a really, really good book or not, but I do know that I do want to read it and give it the old Nikaya assumption before I let other people dictate what's good and what's not. So this is part of the Shepherd King series. Oh, I'm excited. I don't know when I'm gonna get into it, but I have so many series that I want to start and get into. But I just gotta start them. I don't know. Right now I'm in a big series right now. I'm gonna tell y'all about that at the end of the video. Well, actually next. I'm gonna tell y'all about that next. I just started a major series, so I'm gonna wait until I'm done with that one probably to jump into some other things. But for now, this might be next. I don't know, girl. I'm not putting it in order, so don't even talk about me. Boom! These are the rest of the books for the Throne of Glass series. So I already have book 1, 2, and then Assassin's Blade, and then I have the rest of these. So I just finished Assassin's Blade last night. Was it? Yeah, it was last night. And I'm not gonna give too many details because I actually want to do a full encompassing video about that book. So here are the rest of the books. I'm excited to see what they look like on my bookshelf, but man, I'm looking forward to the tandem read, which I think are these 2 books. And then to get through this chunker will be, oh man, that'll be an accomplishment. Let's see how many pages this is, because good God almighty, like, I'm not gonna lie, it's about to be an audio book, because who got the time? Okay, we're in the 900s. Oh, Oh, we're in the 900s. This is 980 pages. Oh yeah, this is going on. Oh, but it's floppy. Look at that. No need to break the spine. Look, how do you get a book that is 980 pages this floppy? Good job. Who did this? Bloomsburg's? Whoever published this and made it this floppy, we love to see it. This is what you do. Okay, so that was all that I got from Barnes, but I did get a couple other books from Amazon. So let me get those. All right, sorry if the angle or anything has changed. One, I'm a new YouTuber, and two, my battery died. I had to plug it in. It was a whole mess. But I was just about to tell you guys about the books that I got from Amazon. So the first being, I got the very first John Marrs book. John Marrs is a very well-known psychological thriller writer. And this is a very famous book because it has a very famous chapter in it. So if you know the chapter in this book that everyone talks about, comment it down below. But I love the fact that John Marrs is always so engaging with his audience. He's in the book group on Facebook that I follow. It's just like Psychological Thrillers and Mysteries. It's a Facebook page, and there's thousands and thousands of people in there. You're probably already part of it, but he's very, very engaging in that group, and he responds to people, and I just love when authors are like that. So I was very, very motivated to read his book simply because he's just always in that group and talking to people. And so this one is for you, John Marrs. I will be reading Keep It in the Family, and then he just recently released, like 4 or 5 days ago, The Stranger in Her House. So this is a book about, let's see, there's a guy that comes to like help this elderly woman, or I think it's an elderly widow, and everyone that's surrounding her is like, something's off about this guy. So he has a little bit of a history. So yeah, I'm excited to read this book too. So in addition to the John Marrs books, I also got 2 of the books that I talked about in my very first video was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies and Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of the Other Lands. I was not able to get the British version of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies because it's sold out everywhere. So I went ahead and picked up the American Standard version of the Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. And I mean, this book is also pretty. They printed the title and everything on the actual hardcover. There's no sleeve for it, and I think that is pretty. So I'm happy that I at least got to get both editions, because the map of the other lands is in the British version, and then the first book is in the American. So I'm excited to read this. I'll have to find a good cozy day where I just want to read a nice cozy fantasy and get into this world, but I hear good things about it, so I'm excited. And then last but certainly not least, we talked about Once Upon a Broken Heart. And I was looking all over the internet for Ballad of the Never After in the British cover. Unfortunately, they wanted you to pretty much sacrifice your dog to get that cover, because you cannot get it anywhere. And if you can, and the print is in English, y'all let me know, because I've been looking. But anyway, I had to go ahead and pick up the Ballad of the Never After in the hardcover, the hard American cover, and I must say, like, this book, the cover is still pretty. It's still giving, but the thing is, I just wanted them all to match. So maybe somewhere down the line, one of the bookish groups I follow will put out sleeves that can make all of the hardcovers look the same for me. But if not, then it is what it is. What matters is that I got a copy of it, because when I pressed click to purchase on Amazon, baby girl, let me tell you, it said 1 copy left. So I'm pretty sure I got the last one. If I didn't get the last one and you want it, you better go on there and get it, because it is definitely selling out everywhere. I went to 3 Barnes looking for this and looking for the Encyclopedia of Fairies when I went to go visit my fiance, and I couldn't find either one of those in the actual store. So it's safe to say that they are running low. So I'm excited to get into this, but not before I read Caraval. So maybe I'll do a whole Stephanie Garber vlog type reading deal. But in the meantime, that is all the books I got. I don't even know how many they were. Let me do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I think there was like 20. I don't know, girls, but that was a lot of books, and I'm so glad that I got that bookcase. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting them on there, but thank you so much for watching this video. Comment below if any of the books I got are books you loved, and let me know. It's a vibe, so I'm so happy that you guys clicked on this video. Stay tuned for more.